Good. Okay, just starting, loosening the body up. Okay, and then next just go to kind of side waves. So really rolling, waving through the body. Good. Okay, rolling the hips. Good, the other direction. Good. Okay, twisting. Okay, turning the arms front and back. Okay, good. And then bending down, you're going to really loosen the arms down, loosen the neck. You're just going to do kind of circles with the arms. So keeping the knees flexible, keeping the head and the spine loose. Just circling with the arms this way. And also this way, so kind of swaying the arms out this way. With bounce in the knee. Good. And also dragging them backwards. You're going to kind of drag them back and swing them up. Keep the arms loose and heavy. Okay. Just come in together with the feet. Just rolling the knees. Keep going. That's enough. Good. Just rolling. Good. And then the other direction. Good. Okay, just rolling the ankles and the toes. Good. Just holding the leg off the ground and rotating the ankle. Good. Shaking the foot out. Good. And just change side. Rolling the ankle. Okay, raising off the ground and rotating. Shaking the foot out. Okay, just gonna stretch right up, way up, deep breath in, and then stretching forward, bending from the knees, all the way to the ground with the breath out. Relax the head, and then just dragging the whole body up to the spine, and again. Again. One more time. Everything the same. You're going to raise the hands up and down. You're going to bend from the pelvis, keeping the legs as straight as you can. Hands to the ground, and then just hinging the knees down. This way. And so you can go as far to the ground as you can. And then just hinge them back up. Straighten the legs, and then really through the pelvis. So as much as you can, keeping the legs straight. Just stretch up, come down, down, and then really hinging the knees. Bring them to the ground, or just a few centimeters off the ground, and then come back up. Again. Good. One more time. We'll do a little bit on the ground, just for the morning. Okay, you're going to go in this position here. You're going to come up off the ground this way, stretch up one side, and just reach up with the arm. So you're really going to arch through the back, and then just press the other hand down. Just kind of sway through the body a little bit. Then I want you to stretch up through one side. So really pressing into this hand, and really reach up with the other. Good. And then just come down, kind of sway a little bit in this position. Relax, and then really stretch the body up. Raise the body up through into the shoulder joint, and blow the body up. A few each side. Good. Good. Okay, and then just transition to the front, the kind of front crawl. Here. Okay, just this up. You're just gonna bring the knees up. Just do this really slowly, like a kind of mountain climber. Slow. Just bringing the knees up, one after the other. So really place the foot, and then bring it up. Place. Good. Okay, and then from here, keep the leg bent. You're gonna kind of bring it out this way. Just hold it, and then bring it back. Again, just relax a little bit here, sway the body, and then you're going to bring the knee to the elbow. Sway, and then bring it back. knee to elbow. Bring it back. Knee to elbow. Bring it back. Good. Push up. Good. Okay, just shake the whole body out. Good. Okay, take a Bokken. Okay, good. We'll just stop shoulder width apart. Just really nice and relaxed. Just looking for this arc through this body. Just swinging through. Nice and relaxed. Extension up and really grounding the arc through the body. This way. Good, keep going. Nice. Okay, good. And then just try this exercise. This is also really for kind of grounding the cut when you place the sword. So in this case, you're going to reach up into the ground, and then you're going to fully flex the knees all the way to the ground this way. And you're going to come into the cut. Keep the cut kind of light, but just have the feeling of placing it. So your hips are going to get to a point where you can't go any lower this way. And that's the point when you kind of place the cut through the sword. So come to here. Yeah, and just have the feeling that the hips really just settle down ground into the floor. And the feeling is as if the sword actually lands on the ground, which is the case normally kind of here. But in this case, you're really going to go into the ground. So come from here and really flex the knees fully. Come to this position. Stretch up and cut down. Keep the cut kind of light, but really have the feeling of placing it into the ground. This way. Keeping the spine long and no kind of force through it. Yeah, give it a try. So just come down as far as you can with the knees. So you feel the hips can't go any lower. Right. Yeah, that's it.
good, good.
Okay, good. You can do the same thing. It's a little bit dynamic, so sometimes it's kind of hard to tell. So you're playing with the balance and everything. So you can also do this in a Seiza position. Just find the back again as you do, and then just pressing forward. So find the ground, and just feel that the hips can't go anywhere. So in this case, the hips are just already settled. So just have the feeling the cut's going to be really grounded into the body. So find the back and ground the cut. Find the back, ground the cut. Now the tendency in this case, the hips will feel kind of inactive, but try and really activate the lower body through the movement. So really feel the body here. Yeah, but just allow the body to really rest down. Yeah, give it a try, just from Seiza. Just keeping the cut really clear. This way. Yeah, give it a try.
That's it. Good. Nice, nice, nice. That's it.
Okay, this is basically working the body without a hand, so as if you were like this. So in this case, what I want you to do is basically just cut towards one leg. So you're basically in a position, you're in a hammy position where the back leg forms the back triangle, just like the feet, and the front leg forms the front knee forms the front foot. In this case, just find the back and just cutting forward on the right side. Just do a few each side, right side, reaching the back, cutting down, and then you can also go to the left side. And you just shift the focus. I don't need to adjust the feet. Just cut towards one leg. And really now have the feeling also the hip's going to also activate this way. Only slightly. But have the feeling now one side of the body is going to really activate the cut this way. So just do a few each side, 2 or 3. This way. So. Yeah, you can also experiment this in this case with the toes up as well. So you can do them in a full kind of Seiza. Or you can do also with the toes off the ground, or the toes, the heels off the ground.
That's it. Nice. Great.
Oh, okay, great. Then just coming up into a standing position. Just go, in this case, for one side, and then just you can do this like Zengo Giri, so fully rotating the body. But I just want you to really explore cutting left and right. So don't worry too much about rotating fully 180. Just focus on shifting through the feet. So cutting right and left. So you can do this really at any angle, or even no angle, just cutting forward. But just have the feeling of shifting now into the hips. So you can cut fully 180, or you can just kind of shift the foot, but just keep it as showman, finding the back, cutting down. Really get the feeling that the one leg, the back leg is the, you know, like the back of the triangle, and the front leg forms the front of the triangle. Really with a sense of each time rounding the cut. Just experiment with the footwork. Right. Good. Okay, good. So now do the same with Yoko Manucci, and now each time you're gonna take a step through the back leg. So come into here this way. Also, just explore a little bit with the angle. So don't worry too much about, in this case, going straight. You can go straight down the line if you like, but just have the feeling of shifting the weight through the foot with a step. Shifting the weight with a step. Shifting the weight with a step. So just pressing through, finding the cut. And this time, each time going to a Yoko Manucci, so a diagonal time. And just focus on now changing sides. Changing sides with a step. This way. Yeah, give it a try. So like a Yoko man. Ooh, very good.
Nice. Good.
Okay, now try the same thing, just now retreat each time. So you're gonna step backwards with the cut this way, but keep the cut really, really clear. So rolling back now. You can also roll off to the side, but each time you're gonna kind of stabilize the body in the back of the movement. So before rolling to the front, this time rolling back, and just change each side. This time changing with a backwards cut this way. Yeah, give it a try, but still keeping it as a cut. So you're moving backwards, but still cutting with a feeling forward. There you go. Good, good, good. Good. Nice. Good. Okay, just work. There's a kind of feeling in this case of going when you go back. There's like a feeling of wedging the front hip forward. So it still wedges forward. So in this case, you can also train this on the spot. So well, the key thing is to bring the back leg back, really stabilize the back hip, and then through the cut, the front hip presses through this way. So what I need to do is really stabilize the back, and then the front hip can really like wedge in like a triangle. What I don't want to do in this case is like this kind of work, where the sword's going forward and the body's still kind of retreating back this way. So really allow yourself to find the back hip, and then wedge the front hip into the cut. So you're moving backwards, but my feeling is slicing forward. Yeah, so this is sometimes easier with a smaller step, this way. And then what you want to do is really wedge that hip this way. Also easier on the right side. In this case, this is really like a finishing cut, where you're retreating and finishing the cut back this way. This always tends to be done on the right side. You can play with the left side too. This way. No, wrong way. That way. But just play with now, really stabilizing from the back and slicing in from the front with the front hip. So left and right side, but the right side's really the easier one. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, good. Nice. You could also try this as kind of as an exercise, just to really exaggerate it. In this case, you maybe sometimes see this actually in the forms. The front leg is really like, it's really kind of like this. Now you're gonna kind of swing through with the front leg. So have the feeling of really solidifying from the back, and really like the front leg can just flow, and then follows through into it. So just have this feeling that when you raise, you can also really raise the front foot, and then come into it this way. So this really is just a check to see that I'm really bouncing in the back of the body. What I don't want to do is kind of still be in the front in these kind of positions, and then the back stabilizes at the end of the cut. Have the feeling. This is really kind of from the first saburi that when you do this movement, and the front legs actually there's hardly anything in it. So 90% of the weight is in the back of the body. So this is really the same kind of skill from here. You come to this position, and then cut down. So just play with this a little bit. It's a little bit exaggerated this way, but allow the front leg to kind of float, and then the weight of it, let it kind of sink. So in this case, don't hold the leg up and then kind of stomp it down, but just have the feeling that the raise actually allows me to raise the leg, and then the body can shift in. Yeah, just play with it a little bit exaggerated. This way. So really balancing the body in the back and then pressing the front hip. This way. Yeah, that's it. Okay, good. Nice. Good. Okay, so that's really kind of exaggerating it. What I want you to do now is kind of condense it. So you're going to make just one movement back and cut into the body this way. So you're going to do this kind of rapid. You're going to move back and slice in. So now the raise, the cut, and the raising and lowering of the leg is kind of one thing. But just keep the sense of weight. The key thing is I can do it fast, but still with a sense of weight through the body. So go at a speed where you can really maintain the sense of weight. If my speed makes me lose the weight or lose my structure, just take it down. So you can kind of build this up, but just now get the feeling of this is one movement. So a raise and a cut down. Raise and a cut down. This way. This way. Really get a sense of being stable in the back and kind of sharp and kind of wedging the front hip in through the sword. That's it. Yeah, that's great. Very good. Yeah, that's it, Bernie. Great. Yeah. Very nice. Very good. Good. Nice. Nice. Okay, good. And now just do this a little bit flexibly. So what you're gonna do is just move around with the body this way, move around with the feet, and then just when you feel like it, make the cut. Now what you're gonna do from here is, well, also this teaches us a way of being flexible in the posture. What I'm going to do from here is find the cut and then just move, go straight into movement. Give yourself a kind of 2 seconds for the cut, stabilize, and then just go back into movement straight away. This way. And just keep the hips, the connection in the arms very flexible. Yeah, and then find the cut, and then just go straight away back into movement. This way. This way. Yeah. So feel that the kind of solidity you get in this form here is also allows me to just move straight away. If my solidity is giving me rigidity, if my solidity gives me rigidity, this is what I don't want. So I just have the sense of pressing weight through the body, and then I can just transfer weight. If I'm working just with weight, then flexibility is an option. But if I'm working with strength and rigidity, mobility and flexibility is less. So really have a sense of just working with movement and weight. And all the time, you're always working with movement of the body and the weight of the body. Just, you're just shifting it into different positions. Try and avoid weight, try and avoid strength. Just go to mobility, flexibility. Nice.
Okay, good. And one of the problems with
because we tend to work in a hanmi all the time, or work in a stance all the time, one of the things that can create is a kind of artificial kind of way of moving. So I tend to kind of move in kind of rigid ways of kind of transitioning between hanmi and hanmi this way. You know, this kind of looks kind of robotic, kind of, it looks kind of clunky. So in a sense, work with no kamae, so work with no posture. So in the end, in these kind of forms, you're working with no real posture. And it's not that you're not in hanmi, but you're working outside of it in a little bit, in a way. But the key thing here is really flexibility in the hips, especially. So keep the hips very flexible. But at the moment, I feel them rigid and tight, and the hips working as kind of one structure. Start to soften everything. Start to really soften it, and just work with no real. You're not really working from a posture, because the posture is now constantly in movement. This is the difference between like a boxer that takes a stance and waits out, and a boxer that's constantly in movement. You think like Muhammad Ali, he never really took a stance. He just was constantly in movement. So in this sense, just really play with the softness in the hip. Should be very flexible. You're kind of going in and out of the hand this way, but just really play with it. The legs, the feet, everything's just soft. Just really play with it. So just a few minutes, just without the cuts. Just really play with the footwork. And again, you're just transferring weight around. But I want to transfer weight in a way that's very flexible. That's yeah. That's it. Very nice.
That's it. Yeah. Good. Very nice.
Okay, and I want you to just play with some other ideas. We tend to just practice in a way, very kind of basic movements with the footwork. Sliding movements, stepping movements, maybe sometimes rotating movements. But this is all kind of simplistic stuff. So what I want you to do is play with, really play with the footwork in a sense. What you're going to do is kind of play with different kind of ideas. One of the main ones is advancing and retreating. So in this case, kind of coming forward and rolling back straight away. This is stuff we do practice later in the kumitachis, but it's in the kind of advanced stuff, and we don't practice it early enough. So really practice a sense of kind of advancing and then coming back, or coming back and advancing forward. We did a little bit of this last week, but just now kind of free fall. Just have the feeling of coming forward, coming back. As if you want to go forward, it's like touching a hot fire or something. It's like walking into something I don't want to go into and then coming back. So you got to kind of have the ability that you really want to go forward and then pull the body back. Or you really want to go back and then you pull the body forward. So just have a sense now of changing your mind with the movement. It's got to be a kind of instant shift. So the easiest way in this case is front to back. So forward, backward. Or it's a bit like stepping off a cliff. It's like go and then pulling the body back. Be very kind of instinctive. Just play with the sword however you like.
Good, great. Yeah, good. Yeah, exactly. Great.
Okay, and the other way you can play is like a shuffle. It's just kind of sideways. So in this case, like moving this way and then moving this way. This is like really shuffling with the feet. So this way, this way. Yeah, so I go what, and then I go the other way. So this is really like I intend this way. I intend to my left, and then I really just shift back. You can do this kind of directly, sideways, this way, or you can do this kind of in diagonal, this way. And this way is like pleating with the feet, this way. So you can play with this one. This is a bit more kind of lateral. This way, this way. I really have a sense of kind of shuffling with the body. This way. This way.
Good. Yeah, good. Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Yeah. Good.
Great. Yeah. Very good.
Okay, good. Good. And then in this case, just really kind of mix these ideas up. So you've got a kind of from back retreating, and you've got a kind of side retreating. The other way you can also introduce your varieties with the rotation movements, but just kind of mix them up now. Mix the ideas up this way, and just keep it very loose. But really have the intention to go somewhere and then go somewhere else with it. So the intention and then go somewhere else, and just really follow the body this way. So you've got forwards, backwards, side to side, and also you can introduce rotations with it. This way, this way, this way. Yeah, just play with the sword a little bit. You play with the footwork. So you're like cleating with the feet. I don't know the better word. Cleating. Good. Nice. Great. Great.
Nice. Okay, good. So we'll just finish with one form. The clearest form for this is the very first movement in the kumitachi, the first kumitachi, and this is a movement where I'm coming forward to strike this way. You can see this is two ways, like me giving an opening and then retreating back. We can see really just I have my intention is just to come through and cut through this way. And if the person's disconnected, I just come through with a cut. If the person's on the ball and they respond to the raise, then I'm moving back. And my idea in the movement back is to slam the sword to the ground. So my idea is to raise, set a trap up, and then slide backwards this way. And this really is a slamming kind of cut. So it's not really a cut through, it's a cut to the sword. I want to slam the sword to the ground and then thrust through to the body. So in this case, practice this two ways. The easy way to do this is I just retreat and go back, but it doesn't have quite the same. The feeling is really that I advance in forward this way and then drag the body back. So it's really a change in plan. My initial plan is to come forward and then I pull the body back. So this is really a change of intention this way. The movement stays the same. So what I want you to do is this. You're going to raise and cut. On the first two cuts, just have the feeling of raising and cutting forward. And then on the third one, keep the same intention this way and then retreat back this way with this kind of slamming cut. So you're going to do 3 times. You cut forward with the first two, just really clearly coming through with a strong intention forward this way. And then on the third one, intent forward and then press the body back. Yeah, just give it a try. So this is the very first movement of the kumitachi. This is initiated by the defender. The first two just really advance forward. Hey. Hey. Oh. Good. Uh-huh. Good. Okay, good. And now just each time, go make the kind of retreat back. So you're really gonna. The key thing is that I'm really going with the intention to cut forward. So really keep that intention kind of clear in the body. This kind of feeling forwards, and what I do is convert it backwards. And I just work on really blending it together. There's two kind of ways I can go with this. I can go where I'm just raising and pressing back and not really doing anything with my intention forward. The second one is that I go kind of too far into the forward motion and then really drag the body back this way. And I want to avoid those two. I want to really make this one I want to make the transition between my intention forward and back the same thing. So it's really about converting this intention. So it's like kind of flipping a coin. Boom. I go this way. So in this case, really try and change the intention like flicking a light switch or something. This. You just flip the intention this way. So really just try it now each time. Strong intention forwards and then convert it backwards. And really with a strong cut down this way. I gave it a try. Last few minutes.
Michael?
Yeah.
Would you describe the feeling that you have when you retreat? You go forward with your center and then you retreat your center first and then the rest follows? So that your front foot lands first?
In a way, because what I'm also looking to do in that movement, because I raise up and expose the stomach, the center, what I need to do is really draw that back as well. Because that's basically where the cuts come in. The person is coming here and striking for the stomach. So if I do in a way like this and then the arms and then the center pulls
and then
back,
the rest you're too late.
Then I'm too late. I just get cut every time. So really have the sense the center comes in and then the center presses back. So it's this feeling like the center, as the center pulls back, it also pulls the sword down. So yeah, everything's gonna come from the hip that way. In that
so actually you have this feeling of a bungee cord attached to your midsection.
Yeah.
And
a little bit like
forward
that.
and being pulled back.
Yeah, it's like mine feels a bit like walking on the edge of a cliff. Like oh shit. Yeah. That way. Okay. Or bungee cord is a good one actually. Yeah, that one. Yeah, good. The best way is you to train this. You tie a belt to the person who's training it, and you just pull them back when they do it, so that you get them really pull forward, and then you pull them back as they do it, and then you get this feeling of whoa. This way. It's really like that. I'm also trying
good
to
for me.
I'm really trying to save myself as well. So it's also a new chemi. So I'm also trying to really save myself through the move. So it's really that sense, yeah. Bungee cord, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Thanks.
Roland.
Michael, but the idea from the beginning is that I really want to attack, or is my idea to build up a trap?
In a way, it's to create a trap. But if the person switched off, then I'm just going to come through with a cut straight through. But in a sense, I've got in the case this is like a provocation. I'm trying to provoke the person to do something. So someone that's really connected. In this case, I'm going to kind of give them I'm going to give them an opening. So in a sense, it's a bit more like an opening. But in a sense, the opening needs to have a feeling of that I'm going to attack him. Otherwise, it's a fake trap. So the trap needs to be real in a sense. That makes sense. Otherwise, it just becomes Otherwise, it becomes this. Just that. I just kind of raise. But I really need, in order to provoke him, I really need the feeling, or him or her, or it. I really need to have the feeling of really coming strongly in forward. And then they really feel like, shit, I'm going to move this way. Otherwise, it's a kind of fake. So the trap's got to be real, in a sense. Yeah. Yeah, correct. Very good. Very nice. Okay, very good. So all the kumitachi and also all the most of the kumijo contain these kind of movements where I'm setting with one intention, either to attack or create an opening, and then trying to convert the movement. this is why the kumitachi are kind of tricky in a sense. So if I'm practicing in a way where I practice those movements fully, in a sense, this movement I can do very easily. If I just focus on the movement, bum, bum, I'm just kind of moving the body back. But if I really focus on the intention side of it and what I'm doing in the movement and why I'm doing it, then the feeling is really full through the movement. So then the movements become worthwhile to train. Otherwise, they're just kind of movements that we train. So we'll finish. はい、どうもありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。
Very good.